for celebrations that happen in the spirit in heaven when one person accepts Christ. I walked in the house and hugged his family, and I kissed his wife, and I said, "Is he in pain?" She said, "No, we don't think so. They keep him pretty drugged up. He had an IV, and they said it was just to keep him, well, hydrated." I walked to the end of the bed, and his feet were sticking out. And I remember thinking, man, that brother has some ugly feet. I couldn't say it because I had this thought come to my mind that was like, who's going to fill his shoes? Who's going to take the place of a man who loved people? It was Don that drove the vans, picked up people, stocked the shelves of our clothing feeding pantries. It was Don that gave scholarships to kids to go to Christian school so that they could escape the element they were living in, kids that were really, really deserving and really needy, several of which are in college today because of God. It was Don that polished the gymnasium floor every summer so that when we came in there to play with the kids in the community, it looked awesome. It was Don that retired almost 6 years too early because he felt like he was running out of time. And he didn't want to waste any more. And I believe his life was probably not as financially secure as she could have been. But if Don would have waited until he had money, Don would have died before he got to give his life. You know, a lot of people give their heart to Jesus. We say it all the time. I love you, your corazón. But Don gave his life to Jesus. His time, his talent, his abilities. Walked up to the head of the bed, and Don was there, breathing shallowly. The cancer had stripped everything from him. No hair from the chemo. No eyebrows. No eyelash. I couldn't see any hair. He usually had stubble, none. And I leaned down and I kissed him, and I was like, "Hey, Don, dirty old goat." That's the way we talk. It's like, "You a dried up bat. This is your brother from another mother. I love you." I kissed him. I said, "You did it, man. You did it." And I told him a story about a kid that we mysteriously met up with as our staff was in Miami. We turned the wrong way on a highway. We were trying to get gas, and we turned the wrong way on the highway, and our staff was 240 miles from our church in Daytona Beach at a conference in Miami, and we turned the wrong way, and we ended up in Allapattah. If you know anything about Miami, Allapattah's dangerous. And I pastored in Miami for several years, so I know the city. And so everyone's getting out of their vans. I'm like, "Hey, y'all, get back in your vehicles. White people, get back in the van." They're like, "What's going on, brother? What's going on?" I'm like, "Get in there." Crazy country white people, what's wrong with you? I love our church. It's just like yours. We're just so mixed up. I like insulting everybody. Puerto Ricans, black people, white people, Asian people. I like insulting everybody. We all deserve to have a little more fun in church. And you can't do it unless you have this kind of a mix we have right here. This is what heaven's supposed to be like. All of us together. Different races and backgrounds. There's even ugly people in here. And you're unashamed. God bless your little pink heart. We love you ugly people. Don't point at me. Pushed them back in the van. Right when they were getting in the van, one dude's riding behind a bike looking like a thug too. Riding behind somebody, he goes, "Hey!" I was like, "Oh, snap." I was like, "I gotta get in front." He's walking towards my pastor. I'm like, "Get between him and my pastor." I'm like, "What's going on, man? What's going on? What, can I help you?" And he's like, "Pastor Rayleigh." He knew my pastor's name. I was like, "Whew, thank God." I know I look tough, but I'm from the suburbs, y'all. I ain't no thug. I just play one on TV. And he goes, "Pastor Rayleigh, you may not know me, but my name is Aaron." And my pastor, he's so country, he's like, "Hey, buddy." I love that. And he goes, "Pastor, I used to ride your bus." He goes, "Pastor, I was so messed up, man. I was on heroin. I was so messed up. I didn't know what was up. I didn't know which way was up and which way was down. I was lost." He goes, "But you guys used to pick me up, and you guys brought me to church, and you guys gave me clothes, and you let me take showers, and you guys fed us." He goes, "Man, everywhere we go, we tell people, man, we go to Calvary because those people, they love us there." He goes, "But Pastor, I got delivered from heroin addiction at Calvary, and I got changed at Calvary, and I got set free at Calvary, and now I'm back with my family here in Miami, Pastor, and I just left work and I'm going to pick up my kids from school, and I can't believe I saw you. I just want to say thank you, Pastor. You changed my life. Thank you. 240 miles away, in that little tiny townhouse of an early retirement cancer patient with terminal illness, I leaned down and I said, you did that. Don, that was you. Thank you. When his wife walked away, I said, buddy, you fought the good fight. You finished the race. You've kept the faith. Now, buddy, get out of here, man. Get out of here. We've got this. I drove away from that house, and just a couple of hours later, they told us that Don died. He went to heaven. Don's somewhere right now where there's no more cancer, man. They don't need chemo because there's no pain. There's no more dying there. There's no more lying there. There's no more suffering there. But they got fried chicken trees there. They got Kool-Aid rivers. They got cotton candy bushes, mountains of mashed potatoes, waterfalls of gravy. In my heaven. And that's where Don is. You know what he's doing right now? He's looking down from heaven, cheering us on. And he's saying, if you just take out the card and volunteer to serve, the world will be changed. What did Jesus want on the cross? He wanted water. But he didn't just want any kind of water. He wanted your water. That's what you're made of. 70% of your body is made of water. That's what he wants. If you use your water correctly, your water will make a difference. In fact, on the cross, they had this sign on the cross above his head, and it said, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. It said it in 3 different languages. In Aramaic, in Latin, and in Greek. And I believe what Jesus wants us to do is use our water to change the sign.